Hi, I'm John Okoro, and welcome to this week's Auspicious Agile video blog. This week we're going to take a look at Agile growth mindset, and does it really matter? You've probably heard these terms thrown around a lot, growth mindset and Agile mindset, and you wonder, well, what does this actually mean? Does it really make any difference? Just a bunch of buzzwords that people are throwing around on LinkedIn conversations and on blogs and articles to get attention. Now, actually, it does make a difference, so let's find out what it means. We're going to start with a little background. We're going to take a look first at the studies that underlie the idea of growth mindset and fixed mindset, which came from Carol Dweck, who's a Stanford psychologist. She put these into her book by the title Mindset, which takes a look at the results of these studies over many years about the ways that people learn. And as it turns out, she found in her book Mindset that there are two primary mindsets. One is called the growth mindset. The growth mindset says, I'm always learning, I'm always getting new things, and I like challenges, I like feedback because I'm always getting smarter because of that learning. And I want to try new things, and I'm going to see, and that's going to help me to get smarter still. So I always like new challenges, and I'm happy, working to try new things that I haven't done before. On the other hand, there is the fixed mindset she found. The fixed mindset says basically I have a limited set of talents. All the talents I've ever had are limited, and if I ever do anything that is outside of those talents and I don't succeed at it, then I've failed, and therefore I don't want to try anything that I could fail at. So I'm going to look for somebody to blame if things go wrong. I'm going to point fingers, and I'm definitely not going to attempt anything. I don't want to hear any negative feedback of any kind because that would make me seem less intelligent. So growth mindset we also often call agile mindset, and you will hear me using those terms interchangeably in today's video, agile mindset and growth mindset. But that's the foundation of it. It came from the book and study by Carol Dweck, and let's get into why it matters for Agile. So many Agile transformations actually fail because Agile mindset is lacking. So people will go out and they'll buy the latest cool shiny tools like, hey, we've got these new Agile software tools, Agile project management, Agile portfolio management tools. We got some new DevOps tools that we can use, and we've got the new tools for that, and we got the new software, and maybe we even get a framework. Maybe we're going to use Scrum now. We got a checklist that we've set up, and we're really ready to go. But as it turns out, when people forego the mindset shift, they end up with a very temporary and incomplete Agile adoption. Now, let's take a look at what that looks like. So often you'll find people puzzled and scratching their heads, not understanding why Agile didn't work in their organization, in their context. Say, well, it's not working. Agile's not working for us. And the reason is often because they have what we call the leaves here, okay? So the leaves are the superficial part of the transformation. Oh, I got some tools, and I have a template and a checklist, and we use people, we have people called Scrum Masters, and therefore we're an Agile organization, but not so. So this tree is inspired by Project Brilliant, and they have something called the Agile Tree. So I've done one that's similar here, like the ideas. You can see the leaves of the tree are the tools, the templates, and practices. We talked about tools. You might put some templates in place, or you might have certain workflows or practices that people use, and you might have some frameworks. You got Scrum, you got Safe, you got Less, whatever it is. You got your frameworks in place. But there's more important stuff, actually, the trunk of the tree. So those are branches, right, and leaves, but the trunk and the roots are really what gives life to the tree. That's the principles and the values. Principles like the Agile Manifesto principles, like the things of the Lean Thinking House and Kanban principles, and values like the values of the Agile Manifesto, like individual interactions over process and tools. And in modern Agile, we talk about making safety a prerequisite, which we'll talk about in a moment, and experimenting and continual learning, things like that in DevOps, in the 3 ways. You're going to find a lot of that stuff. The stuff below that line there is really the mindset. That's the hard stuff. People often like the easy stuff above the line. Give me a tool, give me the framework. Because it's easy, you can buy it, you can, get it from your favorite vendor, you can just, get some quick consulting services, and now I've got that in place and they've written out a document for me. But the hard stuff that really is the root and makes Agile work and stick and successful for you is the stuff below the line. That is what makes Agile work, and that's the mindset. That's the stuff that Carol Dweck is talking about. That growth mindset, that Agile mindset is something you really cannot buy from a vendor. Now, how do you adapt when failure gets punished in your organization? This is another aspect to look at in terms of mindset. Often leaders will look at it as, oh, if there's a failure, I need to get somebody, I need to find somebody who's responsible, we need to find them, point the finger. Modern Agile tells us very clearly we need to make safety a prerequisite, which means if you want experimentation, if you want learning, if you want growth in your organization and that growth mindset to flourish, you have to make it a place where if there's a mistake, we don't point fingers, we don't find someone to blame, we don't find the neck to choke. Rather, what we do is we find out how we can learn from it, how we can get better, how we can get smarter. So if everybody's always afraid the boss is going to get them because they made a mistake, no one is ever going to speak up, admit to a mistake, and we're certainly not going to learn from it. So you've got to make safety a prerequisite, like they say in modern Agile. This is a really key component of making sure you have a learning environment, an environment that is going to flourish and use Agile well, and you're going to have an innovative and an innovation environment in your company or organization. Now, you might say, well, John, I don't have a growth mindset, and it's all well and good what you said, but that I'm not really happy about that because what do I do? Now, there's actually more to though. As it turns out, Carol Dweck found in her book that, and in her studies, that even if you have a fixed mindset, and most people want to go from a fixed to a growth mindset, even if you have a fixed mindset, you still have the opportunity to change your mindset by your own conscious effort and conscious work and will to do so. So you can change from that fixed mindset to a growth mindset, which is great because that means that you can really be effective with Agile no matter who you are if you make the conscious effort. So that's awesome. So as it turns out, anybody can do this. It's harder work than just buying the latest tool or catchy framework and using the latest buzzword of software, right? So we got to get that growth mindset going. So if you like Auspicious Agile, please, in the video blogs, please like below in the YouTube viewer there and subscribe to the channel. You can also support Auspicious Agile on Patreon, crowdfunding platform, and on Amazon. You can find details about that in the comments below this video. So please do support Auspicious Agile on Patreon and on Amazon, and we appreciate that. Hopefully, today you've got some good food for thought, some better understanding of why growth and Agile mindset matter, and why it's more than just a buzzword. So until next time, stay Agile, and thanks so much for listening.